Good Sunday morning. It is the 15th of February, and no jacket. It is 37 degrees out right now. It's so nice. It's gorgeous. And Monday night into Tuesday, we're supposed to get a ton of snow, which really I'm not thrilled about, but because it is February, it is to be expected. So this week I've had some pretty down days. It's been not necessarily down like depressed, but just down as in no motivation whatsoever. I've been struggling with just a lot of stuff, and so I have been doing some research and watching a lot of Jessica McCabe. She does a lot. She's got the channel How to ADHD, and she's been living with it for so long and done her own research, and she's now sharing it with those of us who have just been, just figured out that that's what we're dealing with. And she, she's had a lot on there that she's been talking about as far as impulsivity, which I am very impulsive. Talking about how to get motivated when you don't know where to start or how to start. Things like that. And it's just been, it's been awesome. I love watching her stuff, and she's just so cute. She's just bubbly. But she's got one thing on there to help you kind of wind down from things. I can't remember if this was in a self-care video that she did, or I think it was actually, but trying to calm yourself. And she has her glitter bottle, and it's a bottle of, I think it's water and glitter, and it might be oil, or I can't remember what she said, but it's a bottle of like glitter water, and you shake it up and you just let it sit there, and as it kind of swirls and settles, you just kind of focus on that. It's kind of like I do at work, where I have my candle at work that I'll light, and I'll just sit there and stare at the flame. I love that. It just, so I may look at doing something like the glitter bottle as well. But that's just to kind of calm yourself down. And I do, as another thing that she talks about that I have been told recently that has been an issue of mine for a long time, is controlling my emotions, or emotion regulation, I guess. Not necessarily controlling them, but, if I get angry, it's not that I lose control or anything. It's just when I get angry, I get angry. When I get sad, I'm a weeping ball of mess, If I'm happy and excited, everybody in the world knows it, because I can't stop talking about it. I can't stop jumping around, getting all excited. So, my emotions are just very raw, very open, and a lot. So, I've been watching a lot of her stuff, trying to figure out ways to work with this and figure out ways to overcome some of the issues that I've had. Some of it I can't, and I won't be able to, and I just have to accept it and learn how to deal with it. But hyper-fixating or hyper-focus is another thing that I do, and I didn't realize it until Bill told me about it a couple weeks ago. And he's absolutely right, who better to know than somebody who's looking at it from the outside, he's not me, he's not in my brain, he's seeing it from outside, so he sees all of that stuff. So one of the things that I kind of hyper-focused on this week was, how a few weeks ago I was talking about sticky notes. I love my sticky notes, but I'm not going to sit there and glue every single page and then hope I put it on right so that it turns out and looks good. But what I did figure out is that I don't necessarily need sticky notes, but those tear-off pages on like a pad with a tear-off page. I figured out how to make those. So I have got a tear pad, as I call them, for my brain dump and prioritizing for each day. Brain dump is you basically write down whatever's going through your head right now. No matter, there's no rhyme or reason to it. I'm thinking about avocados. I write avocados down. I'm thinking about perfume. I write down perfume. Or thinking about, whatever. You just write it down so that when you go back and you try to remember, oh crap, I had this great idea. What was it again? It's there. So I've got a tear off pad for that, and then you can prioritize things. And then I have a tear pad for my shopping list. What I did was I went through and made a list. It's tiny print because there's a lot of stuff on there, but a list of all the groceries, and produce, vegetables, or fruit and vegetables, and then meats and dairy and whatever, and then even including like toilet paper, paper towels, soaps, that kind of stuff. And I put it all together, and I've got that laminated, and it's on my fridge, so I see it every day, and I can go through and I can take a look at that and say, okay, when we're out of something, I've got dry erase markers right there. Just put a little check mark by it, and then when it's time to go shopping, I'm not, oh gee, do we have that? Don't we? I'm not going to get any because I think we have some, and then you get home and you didn't have any, so then you have to make another order. That costs a lot extra. So the only reason is because I have anxiety about going into Walmart and I won't go in. So I either pay a bunch to pick up a thing or two from the drive-through, the drive-up thing, or I pay a bunch to get it delivered, or I have to buy at least $35 worth of stuff. And when you forgot body wash and laundry soap, that's not $35 worth. So what was I gonna say now? God, I hate it when that happens. Anyway, so I can now check off stuff and write it down, and that way then I don't forget anything. I've also got a little a laminated sheet on my fridge for what are some of the things that I've got going on for the week. Like on Monday, what do I have going on? I mean, it's not going to be work. It's just going to be, what do I have going on except for work? Do I have like a project that I need to do, or do I have a rehearsal, or, what do I have going on? So I've got that for the week, and then I've got my daily to-do thing, and then I have a list of projects that I want to do. I've got all of this on there, and I've got it on my, with dry erase markers. That's laminated. So I've got all of that stuff, and I'm excited to see how this works. I've even got a meal plan thing, and I went through and, like for me, I would say like meatless Mondays, Taco Tuesday, or, something like that. And then I would find stuff within that realm for dinner. Well, Bill can't do a meatless thing. I mean, he could, but he doesn't want to. So we've got meaty Mondays, and then, it just go on, and so I've got it all set on my fridge, and it's all planned. It's all good. So I'm excited about that. One of the projects that I have on there, and this will be happening relatively soon, I mean probably in the next month or two, I want to start a podcast, like an actual podcast. And this actual podcast will be called Real People, Real Life. That's the same thing I used to call my I did a column in the paper, when they took freelance writers, and you just write a column, and I titled my column Real People, Real Life. And that's, because that's who we are. We're real people, and this is real life. So what I want out of this podcast is, there isn't like an actual, like a theme of it per se, but what I'm looking for is, I love to learn, and I love talking with my patients and how they have, they have all these different stories from all these walks of life, all these different backgrounds, all these different thoughts and ideas and questions and things that they struggle with. And I mean, this is all life stuff. And, I used to interview people when I was working for the Hermantown Star. I did a year just doing interviews, and it was awesome. I had so much fun with that. So that's what I want to do. I want to just, random things. I'd like to talk to, our pastor teaches ethics classes at Lake Superior College. I would love to talk to him about that. I'd love to talk to a veterinarian about, taking care of dogs and cats, or, maybe talk to the zoo veterinarian, and, see if she's got any cool stories. I'd love to talk to veterans, see if they, give us a little insight on PTSD, or, what is it really like, I'd like to, so what are their struggles now that they're out. I'd like to talk to, a fireman or police, a pastor, a psychologist, someone to help us get through grief or anxiety, or maybe she can help me figure out how to get back into Walmart without profusely sweating and feeling like I'm going to pass out. So, there's all kinds of different things that I'd love to talk to people about, and, find someone who's relatively knowledgeable about things, and do a podcast with them. Do a half hour to an hour, somewhere in there. I've seen podcasts that go 10 minutes. I've seen them that go 2 hours or more. 2 hours is way too much. I could talk for 2 hours, but nobody wants to listen to that. But it's what I'd like to do is more than 10 minutes worth of stuff. So I'm gonna work on that. I talked to Bill about it, and he actually agreed. He said that sounds like it would be pretty cool. If that's what you want to do, I'll help. So yeah, that was pretty cool. I want to talk to my sister-in-law, get her on there, because she is like the queen of canning, dehydrating, freeze drying. She's the queen of this stuff, I tell you. And she's like little Miss Susie Homemaker, except her name isn't Susie, but she is so incredible. It is so cool. She's got recipes for very easy, simple things. She's got stuff canned so that if you're ready, if you come home and you don't have anything planned for dinner, and all of a sudden you got somebody coming over, it's like, so you go to your pantry and you pull out a jar of stuff, or you pull out some dehydrated stuff or whatever, you put it in, you mix it with something, and you've got a meal within 10-15 minutes. That's something I've not been able to figure out how to do that. So, I want to talk to her and pick her brain on stuff, I want to talk to somebody who's a master gardener. My daughter-in-law's parents they have these phenomenal gardens. They are so cool. Flowers, veggies. They did all kinds of stuff, and it was just so cool. I'd love to talk to them about that. They also tap maple trees. I'd love to talk to them about that. There's so many things out there that I'm interested in, and I think some of you are interested in as well. And if I'm doing stuff that you're not interested in and you want to see something else, let me know, and I can do that. I'm always into learning stuff, and whether it's something simple or a real deep conversation, or whatever, I'm very happy to get in and do that stuff. So that's what I would like to do. And they did say to make sure that you have, obviously you want to have a good microphone, or preferably a few of them. You want to have probably 4 to 6 podcasts ready to go right at the beginning. They don't have to be all put out at once, but that way then you have a little bit of a cushion, so that as you're doing, as you're working on it, you can have them out there, do once a week, or I wouldn't be able to do one every day. I'd love to, but I don't have enough. I've got about 70 or so ideas for what I want to do. So I've got like a year's worth of ideas, but you know, it takes time too. So anyway, just wanted to let you know that that's a project that I'm working on, that I'm going to be hopefully putting out in the next couple months. I'm trying not to rush myself, because if I do that, then I'll panic and freak out, and then it won't be good. So yeah, anyway, it's Sunday. It's a beautiful day. Get out and enjoy it while you can, because tomorrow night, I think, is when the snow is supposed to start, and yeah, Tuesday morning is supposed to be pretty nasty. So anyway, enjoy your day. You know, give somebody a hug, give them a smile, make their day. All right, love you guys. Bye.